Vancouver. And while I agree it's important that we support affordable, supportive housing throughout the city, when we make arguments like that about the neighborhood already having its fair share, the concept of fair share implies that mental illness is some kind of burden on a community that has to be spread out to allow neighborhoods to manage that burden. Mental illness can certainly be a burden on the people who are ill and on their families, just as cancer is a burden to the people that have it and the people closest to them. But that does not translate into a burden to people who live next door or on the same street. It does mean, however, that people with mental illness, with substance abuse issues, and so on will be attracted to neighborhoods that work for them. In the same way as all people, new immigrants, families, young singles will tend to congregate in neighborhoods that meet their needs. For people with mental illness, with substance use issues, and so on, and therefore for supportive housing, these important qualities in a neighborhood are things like affordability, size and scale, access to public transit, and of course access to services, all of which we know the downtown east side community provides. In fact, it may be those very attributes that have caused many residents to come to the downtown east side and choose that neighborhood as a place to live. Another comment that I often hear in these conversations is that affordable housing, supportive housing, transitional housing, or shelters will lower property values, will threaten public safety, or will, quote, ruin the neighborhood. These fears have little basis in fact. In over 100 North American studies looking into the effects of affordable housing, including subsidized family housing, group homes, and homeless shelters, those developments have been found to have no impact or even a mild positive effect on property values. One of the most thorough Canadian examples comes from British Columbia in 2000, where 4 independent appraisal firms compared house sales data in neighborhoods surrounding 5 family developments and 2 group homes with control areas with no social housing in them, looking over an 8 to 10 year period. The study concluded that looking at housing prices, annual average increased property values actually were slightly greater in the neighborhoods with social housing developments.
Could I just ask you to wrap up?
Of course, thank you. Similarly, there are no studies that I've been able to find that show that affordable or supportive housing increases neighborhood crime, another concern that is often raised by people opposing these kinds of developments. Most studies show that once a supportive housing development goes in, neighbors actually either support it or have no idea it's even there.